Robert here. Welcome to this year's first installment of All Aboard, where we make sure that no one gets left behind. All Aboard is part of Compass 2022, a review program which aims not just to help students ace the entrance exams in their dream universities, but also to guide them in every step of their college application journey. For today's installment, we'll talk about three things: the results and interpretation of our free trial mock tests, the services offered in Compass 2022, and lastly, some few announcements. Last December, we gave the public free access to our trial mock test to the different college entrance tests as one of our Christmas gifts. This include entrance tests to Ateneo, LaSalle, UST, and UP. These tests help the students to assess their readiness in taking these exams. Let us now take a look at the results. We group the scores according to the student's readiness, namely, most ready, more ready, somewhat ready, and not ready. What do these assessments mean? Let's begin with most ready. More than 80% of our past students who had the most ready assessment passed the actual college entrance test. And if you take a look at the data that we have right now, no student belong to this group for UP and Ateneo. While for LaSalle and UST, it's at most 25% of the students. What do we mean by more ready then? More ready means that more than 50% of our past students passed the actual college entrance test. So in this case, we can see that still for UP, we don't see anyone who belong to this group. While for Ateneo, LaSalle, and UST, it's all less than 25%. When you say somewhat ready, it means that it's less than 50% of our past students passed the actual college entrance test before with this assessment. So as we can see here, still no one made it to UP for this group. And for the others, for Ateneo, it's less than 40%, while for LaSalle and UST, it's around 25%. And when you move now to not ready, okay, it means that less than 20% of our past students with this assessment actually passed the college entrance test. So as we can see here, for UP, it's 100% here. And for the other schools, they're more than 25%. So as an overall view, we can see that a student is not really that prepared to take the actual college entrance test if this is already the actual one. Let us now go further to each exam, beginning with the accent. Here in this graph, we can see the horizontal axis, the labels of most ready, more ready, somewhat ready, and not ready. Aside from that, we can also see the score that is needed to belong in each group. For example, for most ready, a student needs to score at least 68%. For more ready, it should be between 58% to 67%. For somewhat ready, it should be between 51% to 57%, while for not ready, should score 50% and below. And from the data that we gathered, around 75% of students have less than 50% chance of making it to Ateneo, if this is already the actual exam. And the good thing about the mock tests is not just to be able to assess the readiness of the student, but it also gives you the opportunity to analyze your test-taking behavior. Let's take a look. Our mock test can show the average speed of the student in answering each section of the exam. For example, here we can see that in English proficiency, the student on the average takes 22 seconds to answer each question, while for the math, it's 52 seconds. For numerical ability, which is also about math, it's also 50 seconds. While when you say abstract reasoning, it's around 16 seconds. Analogy, 15 seconds. Logical reasoning, 20 seconds. And aside from that, actually, you will be able to also find out the actual time spent in answering each question. And that's actually very significant. Why? Because a student will be able to see whether the student spent too much time at the start and then later on ending up rushing the last few numbers. Or maybe the student rushed too much on the early part and then later on find out that there's still enough time to answer the last few questions. So all this analytics can help the student be more aware on how one answer the test. And from that awareness, the student can now improve and be better in taking the test. Further analyzing this set of data, we can see that the problem here of the students are more into mathematics, which is around 33% average. Also, abstract reasoning, which is 31%, as well as logical reasoning and numerical ability. These are all less than 50%. While for the English proficiency, it's only 54%, I would say that is still low, considering that English proficiency, we expect it to be a little higher. While here, for the reading comprehension, vocabulary seems to be okay, the majority of those who took the exam. Moving on to LaSalle, we can see that there is 25% of students in each group. And that in the horizontal axis, you can also see the score that is needed to belong to each group. And from this table, we can see also focus on the general mathematics and statistics that both of these actually only have 34% correct. And the students spend around 45 seconds per item. And that's probably difficult for them. No? And as well as the writing skills, it's only 48%. The questions here are a bit different from the normal, and the students might not have taken this in school yet. While when you say science proficiency, it's only 56%. That's also quite low for a science proficiency. For UST, we can see that around 25% of the students actually can have more than 50% chance of passing UST, while 75% of the students have less than 50% chance of making it. And from this table, we can see that the major concern of the student is basically everything, especially for the math. But for the science, English, and even the mental ability, they're all below 50%. And don't be surprised on this, especially for the parents, because the UST entrance test is actually one of the hardest nowadays compared to the other schools' exams. As for the UPCAT, everyone belongs to the not ready zone. Sad to say about that, but it's okay. This is a practice test. Hopefully, in the actual test, you already practiced enough so that you can improve your chances. And that's what mock test and that's what review is all about. And if you look at the scores here, language proficiency, science proficiency, math proficiency, and even the reading comprehension are all below 50%, with the lowest here being the math proficiency of 22%. So that's really alarming. But what you have to understand also for UPCAT is that it has deductions for mistakes. It's actually right minus 1/4 wrong. So we cannot just guess any question, because once you make a mistake, there will be a deduction against you. So with all these tests, all these mock tests, we can see that whether a student is already prepared to take the actual college entrance test or not. And we will not know as to whether there will be one or not till probably, I would say, earliest will be July. If ever, when they make that announcement, the test will just be a few months away from that. It's also school days during that. it will be hard for a student to review, to cram for the actual exam in that few months. So it's really recommended that if you plan to review, it should be during this summer.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to All Aboard. From the data of the scores of the students who availed of our free trial mock tests, we can see that majority of the students are not prepared to take the actual college entrance test. So students, to help you increase your chances of passing in your dream university, the Compass Review Program is tailored to all your needs. In Compass 2022, we cover 4 major subjects: science, mathematics, language, and reasoning. These subjects are broken down into several lessons specifically included in the actual college entrance test. For example, our science curriculum includes earth science, physics, chemistry, and biology. In math, we have algebra, geometry, functions, trigonometry, calculus, statistics, and word problems. In our language subjects, we cover English and Filipino grammar, communication, reading, and writing. And lastly, we have reasoning, where we discuss abstract and logical reasonings. To make sure that you get the most out of the time you spent in Compass 2022, we, your Achis and Ayas, guarantee that all of your materials are based on actual entrance tests and are updated regularly. All of our Compass students will receive their own copy of Atlas to ensure that you won't get lost throughout the review program. This is a series of softbound books that contain lectures for all the modules that will be covered during the review program. To accommodate the needs of our students and to ensure their safety, the discussion of the modules will be divided into asynchronous and synchronous sessions. The asynchronous sessions are pre-recorded video lectures that are uploaded in our course site, while the synchronous sessions are live online classes that will be held via Zoom. All students will receive a copy of their chosen schedule to make sure that they do not miss a single lesson. For each module, students are required to answer a practice quiz and a module quiz. These 2 sets of quizzes are designed to assess the students' improvement on a specific lesson. To measure students' progress, we also prepared a series of mock tests that simulate the actual entrance test experience. For incoming college students, we are going to provide mock entrance tests for Ateneo, LaSalle, UST, and UP. For incoming senior high school students, we are going to provide mock entrance tests for the senior high schools of Ateneo, LaSalle, and UST. Before the review classes start, students will be taking pre-review mock tests to check how they fared in certain areas of the exam. The results will serve as a guide for students to know the topics they need to exert more effort on during their review classes. After their last review class, students will take post-review mock tests to check their improvement. The results will be compared with those of the pre-review mock tests and with the final mock tests, which are the last mock tests that will determine their readiness before the actual exams. We at ACTS know that attending online classes in the middle of a pandemic may sometimes feel overwhelming. That is why we created an online Compass community on Facebook where students can interact with their classmates and batchmates, and where parents and guardians can share good news or their concerns. If in case they are not active on Facebook, we send them important updates on their email address through our official newsletter, ACTS Bulletin. For Compass Review-related tasks, we encourage our students to join our group on Rock app. which is accessible through browser or mobile app. This way, they can focus on their review tasks and avoid distractions prevalent in any other social media sites. We'll also hold an online session for our annual career guidance orientation, where we help our students get a bigger picture of their senior high school or college life. Since this session will be aired live, students, parents, and guardians can send in their queries and we'll try to accommodate all of them to the best of our ability. And lastly, all enrollees of Compass 2022 will have an exclusive access to HATS, or the Harrison Assessment Test, a psychometric test that provides comprehensive job-specific assessment. The result of this test can be of big help, especially to those who are still confused or undecided about their career path. We'll also hold an online orientation regarding this to help you interpret your results and accommodate your other questions. As your review companion, our guidance does not end with your review classes. Even during the application period, we'll still be reaching out to you to guide you through the process. We'll be holding an online orientation that will simplify the application process to applicants of UP, Ateneo, LaSalle, and UST. The Achis and Ayas of the Language Department will also be helping you check and improve your admission essays to increase your chances of getting admitted to your dream school. Remember, ACS is not just a review center. We are your review companion. And that's all for today's All Aboard. Before I finally end this orientation, I would like to remind the students and parents or guardians who are watching us right now that the Compass 2022 enrollment has been extended up to January 31. This is for both Shape and Set review programs, which are open to current grade 9 and grade 11 students respectively. We will pin the links to the registration page in the comment section below for those who are interested to enroll. In case you have further inquiries on Compass 2022 or any of our services, you can message our official Facebook page, Ax Achin Aya, or email us at compassreview.ax@gmail.com. To stay updated with everything related to senior high and college entrance exams, join our official AX Viber community by clicking the link in the comments section. For those who have enrolled in Compass 2022 review program, the pre-review mock test will be accessible starting this Saturday, January 22 until April 17, 2022. We'll also send you an email to remind you about it. Again, this has been your Ian Robert in another episode of All Aboard, where no one gets left behind. Till next time, bye!